Hey everyone, welcome back. And this is my review of White Box, also known as Shirobako, episode 5, I believe. Episode 5. Hold on a second. Okay. So, yeah. So this episode, I honestly thought it was better than last episode, because last episode, although I liked it to a certain extent, it was basically just our main female character. Actually, does this series even have a main character? Because it's like, I mean, granted, the beginning of the first episode made it seem like that we had 3 main characters, but we only seen those other 2 girls, like one other scene, which was in last episode. Okay, and this supposed main female character of ours is like, she doesn't get a lot of screen time, but she gets about as much screen time as any of the other people that she's working with does. So I don't even know if we really have a main character here, but I'll just call her the main female character because I don't remember exactly what her name is. But either way, though, so our main female character last episode was basically just drinking with her friends, okay, who apparently, like, one of them's in voice acting and the other one's in I forget what she's in, but one thing I do hope the series covers later on is, like, going in depth about their jobs as well. Okay, because, I mean, voice acting and the other job are still crucial components to animation, obviously. So, I do really hope that it doesn't just stay here, you know what I mean, with this chick. But anyways, though, last episode was basically just that. And although I liked it to a certain extent, that's really not what I came to watch this series for. Okay, I came to watch this series to watch an animation studio animate. And maybe watch, and like I just said, maybe watch how some other aspects of the animation are done. Okay, such as the voice acting and whatever the other chick does. Okay, so last week's episode I thought was decent. This week's episode, though, I thought was much better. I really did. Okay, because first off, it dealt with this one guy who, at first I was just call him a douchebag in this review, but I don't really think I can because there's a lot of people who hate 3D animation. Okay, and he's one of those people. He's basically I can't really call him an old timer because he's still seems to be kind of young, but he's one of those people who believes that hand-drawn animation is the way to go. He doesn't like that 3D animation is the way of the future, and because he's being made to do 3D animation, he basically wanted to quit. Okay. And this episode is basically his struggle with it, and I assume he's going to get some character development later on in which he will agree to do 3D animation. That being said, if he hates 3D animation, can he do 3D animation? Like, is he skilled with it? I assume that maybe he is, for whatever reason, since he hates it. Maybe he was forced to learn it or something. But if he was forced to learn it, then you'd think he would kind of assume that he would be forced to use it at some point. I mean, you're not forced to learn skills in a college that you don't really... Actually, I take that back. You kind of are. Okay, never mind. But anyways, so that's basically like the main concept of this episode. There was also this whole thing where... I forget these 2 characters' names, but there's this one fat guy who's like in love with fried chicken is being forced by this other fat guy. Yes, I know. I love these characters, don't I? To basically forcing him to the chicken loving guy the fried chicken loving fat guy to finish the next episode of Exodus. Okay. And hold on, I'm gonna look up something here real quick. It is about the review. It's basically keeping him in a cage until he does it. You know, he can't go to the bathroom, he can't eat, drink, sleep, he can't use his phone. In fact, he's tempting him with fried chicken, saying, if you finish 1 page, I'll give you this fried chicken. And it's like, oh my god. The anguish on his face was fucking amazing. It really was. Oh my god, I really loved that so much. So, yeah. That was probably my favorite, my favorite humorous scene in the episode anyways. But the main concept of this episode was definitely dealing with the guy who hates 3D animation, which there's a lot of nowadays. There really is. Okay? And in terms of my stance on 3D animation, I think it's like, okay, this guy, I personally agree with this guy's beliefs, okay? This guy basically believed that 3D animation was not to be used for an entire project or an entire scene. It was only to be used to complement hand-drawn animation, 2D hand-drawn animation. And I actually agree with that myself. But he's being forced to use 3D animation, and at first he wanted to quit. I'm going to take a wild guess here, a prediction, if you will, and say that he's not actually going to quit. Alright. That he's going to be developing out a little bit and using 3D animation later on in the series, okay? Hopefully next episode, so that then we can move, in later episodes we can move on to something else, you know what I mean? Yeah, but overall, I thought this episode was actually pretty good. Like I said before, I thought it was better than last episode. Okay, and I really hope that the series keeps up this pace. Okay, if you have yet to see this week's episode of Shirobako, then I definitely recommend that you do. After this week's episode, I really can't wait for next week's episode. I thought this week's episode was very good, very enjoyable, very entertaining, very funny at times, and I think that the main plot they introduced in this episode was kind of interesting and realistic, definitely, okay? So anyways, overall, I hope you enjoyed this review, guys. See you after, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.